The only difference is I add on it by accommodation party. So for instance, because we still need to travel across these lands and these fiction entities are still going to misbehave. So instead of being put in jail or challenged on the side of the road all the time, on the driver's license, I have, because I don't own that, it belongs to New South Wales. I write on it, when I put the autograph on it, Crown, I write full column, bracket by, full column, bracket A, accommodation party, period. And then I write full column, bracket, all rights reserved, bracket, period. And that's in the autograph. Now, what I have done is, what I'm saying is that an accommodation party is sitting there. Well, who's the accommodation party? That's when you put the CPAS up next to it. The accommodation party is a live, born claimant. That's the accommodation party that had to create that, to travel on that road. And by saying all rights reserved, I'm reserving my rights. They haven't got my rights because I've written it. I've stated it. So when I write on any of, even if I go into a club, like I did the other day with my CPAS, because they like to have your license for identification. So I presented the CPAS, she accepted it, and I wrote on it, Crown, all rights reserved. So I'm always reserving my rights. They can't take my rights because I've written it. So that's where it comes into play in everything I do. So I don't get into this sort of conflict with the policeman on the side of the road. You have them together, but it clearly has what's owned by the government and where the placenta is over there, and then the live born claimant. And I also carry a courtesy notice in quantum, and it just outlines if they're going to keep me on the side of the road for half an hour and question me or detain me or kidnap me or whatever, that this is my fee schedule for my time. So you've got to just be prepared when you walk with the documentation and clearly show them and give full closure on these sort of documents. You're using correct sentence structure, communication pace, syntax, grammar, and you're using the flag, you're using that language, and that's how you choose to walk. So it's important to learn those little things and script your own
Absolutely.
script.
And it sounds like you need to know what you're doing, right? And that's what Andrew and I were talking about a little bit earlier before you came on, Lady Crown, earlier today. We were talking about what exactly these documents mean, and what's this ideology and law situation that we're looking at, the context, the background, because we're still looking at Admiralty and Maritime Law, which is the law which currently prevails, right? And what you are talking about also is you're talking about post roads, shipping lanes, the kind of things that Russell J. Gold has been speaking of, as you know, and the quantum grammar, the language that he and David Ben Miller, I guess, gave to the world. So, but it sounds like, listening to you, with your background, you have had an awareness of the same kinds of things that Russell has had for a long time, right? The post roads, the shipping lanes, the fact that a live life claim is quite powerful, and the CPAS could actually help you navigate your way through this system of maritime law, which includes the policeman stopping you at the side of the road, etc. Did you create your own CPAS? I mean, before you met Russell and all that?
So before I met Russell, I had my own travel documents, and I would travel through ports and they would stamp it. And so I'd naturally put my autograph straight across their stamp. And that's on my own documents, which was a Crown document. And whenever I used it, they actually honored it. So it's not just a bit of paper, and it's not just that CPAS, that plastic card. It's the energy, it's what you bring with it. It's in your eyes, it's in your body language, and it's in your humility. You cannot use this with violence, or you cannot use it to go into the situation and be belligerent. You have to use it as an educator, because they have no knowledge that they too are only registered as a placenta and they're lost at sea. So when you do return to the land, you've got to share with them, your knowledge. I'm not dead, and I present those documents that say child born dead. And the fact remains, I'm standing here and I'm breathing, and I have a conscience and I have a backbone. Whereas a corporation, a birth certificate, a fiction, an actor's mask, an infant, it's not, it's a legal fiction. It doesn't have a breath and it doesn't have a backbone and it doesn't have a conscience. It just has a number. And they use that and they trade that on the US stock exchange in your weight in gold, or you could say a postage stamp, which is backed by gold. And over years, that money accumulates. So in our acts in New Zealand, not mine acts, the government acts, it clearly states under births, deaths and marriages that every birth certificate is worth $10 million. So in actual fact, everything
Oh,
is
it actually
prepaid.
states it in the acts? I think that's very different from the US. It doesn't say anything like that over here.
It does state that, and what I will do is present that. I will show you where that is written.
Definitely.
So these are the things we also teach. We also teach when you get your CPAS or you get a live birth, a live life born claim from the Purple Thumb community, or you get a domicile claim, we give full closure. But we also share with you protectorates, or you could call them kaitiaki, guardians, and it shows you how to point to their acts that they understand or they understand or they know as to why you can have a certificate of identity, or why Māori are not to sign any contracts, or why we have undisputed rights to the soil. I will point our people and the people of the United States and the people of Australia to all those little, we call them guardians, all those little areas where you can show the policeman on the side of the road who you are and why